Hello, you beautiful bitches. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for clicking this video. I do appreciate you. That's your girl Tyra, and over here I talk about my life. I do some reaction content, some drama content, and I also play with nails a lot. Whatever brought you here, I'm certainly glad to have you. So I just need you to sit back, relax, and let's get into this video. This is actually editing me, and you're seeing me in the beginning, but I want to make something really, really clear. I am not a creator who is able to create content and live off of donations. I'm sure there are creators out there who, you know, live stream twice a week and they get super chats like crazy. Like, I watched it happen, but that's not me. In the past, and like for my birthday and Christmas, people have, you know, invested in my nail business because once upon a time I had one ready to launch. I have not had anyone invest in my nail business since. I have received a couple gifts off of my gift list, and I guess we can consider that investing in my nail business, you know, but actually receiving large sums of money in order to buy the things, any of the things that I have bought in the last year, any of the things, okay? I want a space where I can be transparent and people don't have to feel like I'm grifting or I'm asking for help or I'm expecting people to help me, because that's not what I make content for. I've never come on YouTube a single day in my life with an expectation that someone is going to donate to me. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. People definitely donated in a recent live stream, but like, people don't donate like that. And they don't do it because I talk about being broke. I'm always fucking broke. I am very dramatic, extremely exaggerated. I'm Italian, right? It's in my blood, dude. I can't catastrophize things. I really do. And I know that they're really not that serious. I'm really not going to be homeless by fall. It's just me talking shit. It's me venting. And without the support of you guys here on YouTube, I don't know that I would even be here. And I think about that often. I don't want people to worry about me because I'm going to be okay. I have a man who loves me. Our relationship is just fine. We just got to figure out where we're going to live. And if he can live away from Mama, can he do it? I also think there's other circumstances that have been said and shown on YouTube that make people think that people are going to come find me, or people are going to look for me, people are going to hurt me, and all the things, right? That's so not going to happen. I have way too many fucking friends out here. It's just not a thing. It's not a thing. I don't need anybody worrying about me. I promise you guys I'm fine. I'm being as safe as I possibly can. I'm doing everything in my power not to give up and not just become a fucking heroin addict like my baby daddy. You know, I would love to escape. I would love to escape and be a drinker, be a drug user, and just like forget life. But it's not me, man. It's not fucking me. Have I dabbled with pills in the past? And do I smoke weed? Yeah, but like, I can't be some strung out slore just because my life sucks right now. So please, please don't worry about me and just let me be transparent. Let me tell you guys all the things. And I'm telling you for no other reason than to share my life with you. That's what this channel is. Thank you. In this video, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. And when I say a lot of things, I mean a lot of things. I am going to do my best by having taken notes and things like that and making an outline of how I want to do this video. And you guys know that I don't do that. That's not even my steez. I just talk to you. I am trying really hard to work through this depression. And I'm trying to be extremely self-aware. I'm trying to even be empathetic towards people that I would never even consider empathizing with. I'm trying to understand where people are coming from. I'm trying to take in a lot of criticism about my life, and it's not invalid criticism, it's just criticism. And it's coming even from my friends. I think it burns a little more when your friends have to tell you like it is. And I appreciate them friends. I appreciate them friends. Even if you feel like you need to do it publicly, even if that is something you feel like you need to do instead of telling me privately, okay? I understand what's happening. And I've spent the last few days extremely inundated with content and filming and all things YouTube while staying silent, right? And just uploading videos and minding my own business. But I'm seeing so much, and things are so loud, and I'm watching things I probably shouldn't. I mean, that's the first thing. And I don't know if there's going to be a video that I ever make like this, because I'm going to be the most vulnerable that I have been in my entire life. And I'm going to set this video up in a way that it's digestible, and I'm not all over the place, and I'm not ranting and raving, and I'm not angry, and I'm not any of the things, okay? I also don't want to be a victim in this video. I never want to be a victim. I don't like to claim myself as a victim, even though I know I'm a fucking victim. I'm a victim of cyber harassment and bullying and all the things. I'm a victim of that, but I don't wear that on my shoulder. At least I try not to. I want to understand where haters are coming from. I want to acknowledge that my life is far from perfect. I want to admit to myself that I'm a complete fuck up. I want to acknowledge that I'm 45 years old almost and have not a damn thing to my name except a makeup collection that will come in handy one day. And I only say that because I'm determined to start my nail business again someday. I have every intention on doing everything that I set these goals for. And before I know it, life happens. Depression happens, my bipolar, whatever the case may be, and I'm not going to start something so important to me when I know that I'm not in the place to give it 110%. That's it, that's all. I could start a nail business. It would be chintzy, it wouldn't be the way that I had it before. As a lot of you know, I was going to start a press-on business. I had everything and anything I needed. I just needed to get to Chicago. I was moving in with a friend, and I was ready to start the business. The problem is I was promised a space to do my nails, and that just wasn't a thing. And then, of course, I lost everything. And I have attempted to start from scratch because I thought this summer was going to be the summer, you know what I'm saying? And I was going to rent tents, and I was going to sell my press-ons, and I was going to do all the things. And then depression kept hitting, and depression kept hitting, and depression kept hitting. This depression, I have a whole food addiction. It is hard to not get the food that I want to eat rather than I have to eat when I have the money in my bank account. I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems on YouTube. I had a lot of chaos going on in my real life, and that has subsided. And I had a great vacation in West Virginia. Did I need it to be longer? Yes. But, I can't sit and cry about people taking things away from me when ultimately it was my decision to leave. I did not have to leave that house, you know what I'm saying? I just think when you tell someone, like, I got to go, like, I cannot have problems in your house, that's not something I'm willing to do to you in your marriage. Not something I'm willing to come between you and your husband, or you feel like you gotta fight for me because I'm your bestie. And no, like, I think the worst, because the worst always happens. So now my brain has learned how to think like a weirdo. And I envisioned, right, like letters being sent and flyers sent around the fucking neighborhood. And you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Phone calls being made.
Who has a landline in 2025? Why is there a landline in that house? A landline that could probably be found before their fucking address. I think it's so easy to find someone's fucking phone number on Google's. You think I want someone calling her husband? Oh my God, I would die. I would die. And I'm not willing to take any chances. I'm just not willing to do it.
My biggest fan had some things to say, and I want to take them as constructive criticism. I watched Pino's live about Jessica Kent. In Jessica Kent's live stream, she was talking about like drama channels and how terrible they are and all the things. And, you know, Pino made it really clear, like, dude, we're giving you constructive criticism. Like, what are you talking about? Like, ain't no one bullying you or, you know, trying to destroy your life. We're talking about the life that you share. And I'm like, you know what, Tyra? That is the same thing that people do to you. They talk about the life that you share. But see, my problem is not the commentary on my life. Did I think it was weird? Yeah, I thought it was weird. Because to have a channel follow your every video and like react to everything you say in every video, that's a lot, I think, on a person. And people probably downplay it because it's me. That's a lot. That's a lot to have, okay? For like 3 consecutive years. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot for anybody. I'm strong, right? And I can take anything. And I've been able to deal with this for years. And I'm still here. And not without bruises and broken bones and in tears. I cried for the internet. You guys, I don't cry in public. I barely cry in front of a single soul on earth. And I cried on the internet. One person has made me cry. If you can make me cry publicly, you are one of the biggest assholes on planet Earth. And that's just the reality. You're just a huge asshole. To be able to make me cry in public, you're a really good dickhead. You know what I'm saying? And I've been fortunate enough, right, to have a really good dickhead who is like obsessed with me and likes to talk about me all the time and all the things. I didn't listen to all of it, but I listened to enough of it. And I want to address that as well. And I think I need to get back to the basics. I think I need to make it very clear why I do the content that I do, why sharing my life is the main goal of this channel. I just happen to really enjoy doing drama content, reactionary content. I enjoy doing that. I love having live streams, kickbacks, whether we're talking about someone, whatever. I really enjoy that. That's my happy place on YouTube. That's what I do. I've always been a live streamer and a consistent video maker. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I lived for 3-4 years straight. Didn't stop a day in between, you know? I've always been very dedicated to YouTube. And I'm so, like, ashamed of myself. Like, you did this. You finally got to the end goal. You got to the end of the rainbow and you found the pot of gold, and you're just going to sit there? You're going to sit there and look at the pot of gold? I'm not doing that. I can't do that. I cannot fail in front of everybody. And if this is not a good way to hold yourself accountable, and especially accountable to your mental health and your mental well-being, I don't know what is. And it's time to have a talk about some things, because like, it is so overly done when it comes to this piece of trash that Tyra is. And I think I really should address some of these things, because the more that they're said, the more people believe it. I had a friend who reached out to me, and I'm gonna put her comment in this video. That is a comment, okay, that I believe very much came from the stream that this person did. Now, does my friend give a what that person says? No. But to hear it over and over and over, and you are listening to it and you are paying attention to it. I am too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say nothing about my friend. But like, and you're listening to it, you almost feel like, wow, maybe he's right. Maybe someone publicly needs to tell her, like, she is, like, needs to get it together. And I get that, but I hate that a public comment like that is so real and raw and, you know what I'm saying, had to come from a place of a hater. I'm in no way, shape, form, fashion mad at my friend for publicly telling me about myself. I will never be mad at that. If there's something that I think, you know, shouldn't be said publicly, of course I'm gonna feel some type of way that you didn't come to me privately. But like, to state facts, I'm not gonna be mad at my friend. I'm just not gonna do it. I just know where the comment came from, and it came from a bad place, whether she realizes it or not. Okay, let's start this conversation with a little timeline of Tyra's life. My mom and dad were high school sweethearts. My mom's dad took care of her and her siblings, her two sisters. My parents were together until I was about 7, maybe 6. And my mother divorced him. And for some reason in the divorce, I still don't understand to this day, he got my grandfather's house. My grandfather passed away when I was 2 and left the home to my mother, who was then taking care of her youngest sister, until her youngest sister became grown, of course. My mother could only afford a double-wide trailer in a city called Park City. It just so happened, even though I was living in a trailer park, my friends, I was going to the best damn schools anywhere around. I was in the Gurnee school district, and from 2nd grade, when I left Waukegan, to 8th grade, I was in Woodland, and like Woodland Elementary, Woodland Junior High, Woodland Middle School, whatever the fuck. And it was the Gurnee schools. It was the best schools. My mom lucked out. She was a single mom. She worked all the damn time. I took care of my sister. I got us off to school. I made lunches. I tucked my sister in at night, you know, and that was just kind of my life. And before you know it, 11 years later, my brother came along. And then I was taking care of a baby and a 8-year-old, let's say. And, you know, don't get it twisted. As much as I can remember having great times with my friends and spending weekends at my girlfriend's house and, you know, flirting with the boys on Saturday while they're playing football. And I remember not being able to do a lot of fucking things because I always had to babysit my mother's children. And that put me in mother mode very early, okay? I was the caretaker. I was looking out for her. Wasn't no one gonna bully her? Wasn't no one gonna pick on her? That's my little sister, me and my sister. I know I pulled her hair 25 too many times and called her a brat and shit, you know what I'm saying? And probably smacked her on the arm or whatever. But like, me and my sister have always been very close, you know. I am so grateful for the relationship me and my sister have. There has only been one time in life my sister has ever turned her back on me, and that was just 2 years ago. So, like, we have a pretty good fucking track record. But, like I said, it put me in mommy mode a little too early. And I became a little mommy. I became a little mommy with my friends. I became a little mommy at school and all the things, right? Like, I was just mommy. I was always naughty and doing something I wasn't supposed to do, but I was always responsible and always had the house clean and always had the dishes done and the laundry done and all the things that you were supposed to do, right? But unfortunately, I also have a childhood where I had to grow up way too fast. There was domestic violence in my home. There were men in and out of our lives. My mom definitely had her issues with drugs at, a point in time. She's been a pothead her whole life, but, like, she did, like, powder and stuff like that. Like, I know my mom dabbled with shit, you know what I'm saying? Because she'd be out in the streets and shit. But all in all, dude, had a great childhood. We were spoiled. We had the best clothes at the beginning of every school year. We had the best school supplies, honey. Me and my sister used to live for fucking Walmart school supply day. And we would want to play with them bitches for 2 weeks. My mother would torture us. We'd go super early. Knowing her, it was probably because of her income, right? Like, but we'd go super early and we just have to know them bags full of the best notebooks and the coolest folders. And my mother replaced her time with the money she went out to make and bought us things, And while growing up, and I had some really bad babysitters. Like, my mom left me with really bad babysitters. Like, my kids have never had a babysitter, neither one of my children. And there's a reason for that. I could tell you guys story times about babysitters. Let me fucking do that. Do not let me forget to do story time on the babysitters I've had, honey. But my mom wanted to go out, like, she wanted to go out, she wanted to be in the streets, and she wanted to do her. She didn't want to sit home and raise children, nor could she. My father never paid her a cent in child support. He has been a loser since the day she met him, and he got addicted to drugs real bad. He's done federal time. He was a really huge drug dealer in Waukegan. Him and my uncles, like, that's what they did in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? They were going back and forth to Mexico and shit. And he caught a federal fucking case. My mom was all I had. My dad was never there. I was the kid who was, looking out the window on Christmas because I just wanted to see my cousins. Fuck my dad. I wanted to see my cousins. That was a one time a year. Our family, his family got together. My mom's family is super small. I was always super popular in school. In fact, I was quite the bully through 8th grade. Never laid my hands on anybody, but this mouth of mine, I think I learned early on, could get me the respect that I thought I always wanted. When it was fear, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want anyone to fear me. I wanted them to respect me. And I've kind of always been a hothead. I've always been a runner of the mouth, you know what I'm saying? I had to stand up to grown men putting their hands on my mother. Like, that was me. I was the one breaking, an ashtray over one of her husband's heads. And that's when I was older. Thank God I was older, because that motherfucker was not finna put his hands on my mama. I've been watched that, been there, done that, and I'm grown now, motherfucker. You got me all the way fucked up. And I always protected the kids. Especially when my little brother was born. I was in the house until he was about 4 or 5. And that was my baby, okay? That was like my child. And not only did I protect my sister and make sure she didn't know that anyone was getting hit in the front room, and, that there was all the arguing and, oh my God, what's going on? And I'd rub her head to go to sleep. And, there was nights I didn't even go to sleep and had to get up and go to school in the morning and get me and my sister ready and all the things. Like, it was hard. It was hard to be me. And before I knew it, my mom was marrying this dude that I fucking hated. And it would mean that I'd have to start high school back in Waukegan. Well, I've been out of Waukegan for 8 years now. Didn't know anybody. I knew a few people, but, like, barely knew anybody, And here I am, a freshman, and what do? I get in with the wrong crowd. it just so happens it was the opposite crowd that I ended up in, but I started hanging out with the opposite crowd, you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, I'm fighting girls in gym class as we're going around the track, and then I'm in school suspension, and I'm whooping her ass in the damn classroom while we're supposed to be suspended in school. Why do they do in-school suspension? Get my ass out of school. Don't put me in a damn room with these little girls. Come on now. And I realized not only could I bark, but I could bite. I've always been a tough cookie, okay? But, like, starting high school and being around gangbangers and shit that I was not used to. I'm at the blue line, by the way. I'm not in front of a hospital. Just letting everybody know. And I'm not complaining about ambulances. Like, they save lives. Just throwing it out there. The reality sunk in that, like, it was either join the cool people and gangbang, or, like, they weren't my people. I just had a lot of friends. I was always popular all through 2nd to the 8th grade and all that stuff. But then when I got to high school, nobody knew me. And I think I tried really hard my freshman year to be someone that I wasn't, because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was supposed to be, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do in this school around these kids. And, like, these are not kids that I'm used to. I'm used to all the little blonde-headed girls with blue eyes and shit. No, everyone's Hispanic and fucking beating each other up. My mother, by marrying this demon man, essentially put me right where fate had me to be. And I very quickly, me and my friends, you know, we started hanging around the gangbangers, and it just so happened they were not down for the gangbanging. They just wanted to be hanging out and shit, you know, and I wanted to be the gangbanger, and that's exactly what I did. And I, from the age of 14 going on 15, the same year I turned 15, the same year I turned 16. The same year I turned 16. Because, see, when I was 14 and 15, I was, like, dating a whole white guy, like, you know what I'm saying? The only white guy I've ever dated in my life, honestly. I think there's been 2, actually. I'm a liar. And, like, I was, you know, I think it was sophomore year I started getting in trouble then, because in freshman year I was totally a good girl. Not really a good girl. I was, like, sneaking out of the house and shit. So, like, not really a good girl, but kind of a good girl. And my mom's husband hated me because I started hanging around beaners and spics. And I was a beaner lover, and I was a good for nothing. He would tell my mom I would steal from her. He would do really weird shit. And just, like, I didn't let him treat me the way that a man has treated my mom in the past. I didn't let him talk to me crazy. I think I've always had an issue with men disrespecting women. I think I fit in great with the gang. I spent my entire teenage years almost, you know, whether it was playing Barbies or gangbanging. That's what I was doing. And, you know, I grew popularity just by, I guess, being in the gang, you know, just being known for being that particular gang member. I wouldn't say I was popular like I had all the friends, because unfortunately I just am a very loyal person, and, like, my only fucking friends was the gang, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even hang around people who weren't in a gang, and I'm not even sure why. That seems so fucking weird. And if I did hang around people who were not in the gang, like, it was girls, you know what I'm saying? Oh God, the things that I would do to girls, the things that the girls have done to me. We haven't had girls since 1997, and I was literally the only girl, but they never treated me like a fucking girl anyway, so it didn't matter. But I played a role, and my role essentially was mom of some sort, you know, or, like the mob's girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was where everybody would go if they'd gotten into trouble. They came running to Tyra's house if there needed to be a meeting. We had gang meetings in my apartment when I was 16 years old, absolutely. Many of them. Many of legends have gone, you know, and sat in my living room at the age of 16, you know. Not only am I from a Latin gang, we all know that Latin people definitely don't move out of their mama's house anytime soon. So none of my friends had their own apartment. And I always just was there for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I went to work every day. I made money. I paid bills. I've been paying rent since I'm 16 years old. My first living room set came from my mom's basement in her old house, and my first coffee tables came from my uncles, you know, that my dad was living with, and we just kind of threw something into a one-bedroom apartment, and I think I bought a used bed, and I remember I was paying $440 a month for a one-bedroom, one bath, and people are so loud and rude. It's unnecessary. It just really is. It gives me anxiety, it really does, because I just, like, I'm not for the chaos like that, like, anymore, you know what I'm saying? And to think I used to live for that, like, it's like, my anxiety couldn't take being a fucking gang member in 2025, okay, bitch? Like, that's just real fucking talk. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm out of the gang, because I'm certainly not if we have to get technical about it, okay? But putting out being a gang member around all the other gang members, like, no, I couldn't do that in 2025. My anxiety just wouldn't let me do it. And then I think, you know, before I knew it, I had a name for myself amongst my peers, amongst the people that mattered, my homeboys, you know, my brothers, and that's all that mattered to me. I was on probation for an entire year. They didn't want any more girls because the girls sucked. Let's just say what it is, okay? I have no hair on my fucking tongue. There was 6 girls when I joined, and they left a year later. We were all given an ultimatum to leave or to go, and I'm the only one who didn't take my walking papers, of course. And I remember sitting in my living room in my apartment when I got the phone call. I will never forget that phone call. That phone call changed my life. I was able to walk away, and I am the only one who did not walk away. And I am the only one who stayed, the only female who stood in the gang and fought amongst all the boys. And easily for 5 years, until I was almost 20 and had my son. My house was always the hangout. My house was the go-to. You needed a place to lay your head. That's where you went. It was never a trap house. We did not keep drugs in my apartment back in the day. In the late 90s, there was a firearms store under my bed, and it just so happened to be the place where we kept the GUNS, you know what I'm saying? But it was always my place, you know, it was always, if you need somewhere to go, you know where to go. Anyone from the city came down to the suburbs, they were always at my house, and I knew everybody. I knew everybody from the city, I knew everybody from Waukegan. I've been around a really, really, really long time. I don't think there's anyone who don't know me. And that's just the way it's been for a very long time. And then I became a mother. And then I had to do mother things. And I entered corporate America early on, before I even got pregnant. Hallelujah, Jesus, you know. I had great maternity benefits. We got to go to the best hospital in town. And, you know, just things like that, right? When I came to my oldest son. And, my baby daddy is a heroin addict, and he's been a heroin addict for 26 years that I know him. And for many years, I had no idea that he did heroin. I had no idea that heroin was in our small little city. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea that people did heroin. And he's 7 years older than me. And in his generation, I believe it was his generation that probably brought heroin to the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I think they all kind of got high on their own supply, and some of them got hooked on their shit, you know? He did a lot of time. We got pregnant very soon after he got out of prison, literally 3 months. Like, the same year he got out of prison is the same year I delivered our child. And I was a young girl, and I was completely oblivious to the life that he had in store for me. And, you know, to this day, I will say about that man, okay? I can not hate him. If you have followed me long enough, you would know that the last time I even spoke on my baby daddy is when I was homeless last year here in these streets of Chicago. And I have not spoken to him since. Do not plan to ever speak to him again. But I could not ever hate him. Number one, he gave me my 2 beautiful children. Hello, like, thank you. Then, on top of that, I think he was just here to give me my children, and my children were supposed to be here because they're supposed to be mine. My kids were put in this world to be my children. I truly believe that. You guys, I truly believe that shit from the bottom of my motherfucking heart. Your children are literally birthed to you because they are meant to be your children's. Editing me, of course I'm here because I knew I couldn't stay on track. I didn't make an outline. I didn't do anything I said I was going to do in the beginning of the video. The video has just gone where it's gone. But I can never hate him because he never offered it to me, never allowed me to try it. I know I've asked him to try it before and he didn't let me. He shielded me from that life the best that he could. He did not bring that home. Did not ask me for money for it, none of those things. So if there's one thing I can say about the man is he kept me out of that life. You know what I'm saying? He really did. I think it was for selfish reasons, but he still kept me out of that life. Okay, bye. I am someone who believes that my story has been written and I just have to fucking write it out, okay? So, like, and I don't get to know my story. That's the worst part about it. I had no idea then, but that is when my mental illness really, like, kicked in for me. And I was anxious all the time. I had a friend who worked for a doctor, and this friend was a pill popper. My best friend in the whole world, okay? And they loved to pop pills. And at first it was like the Xanaxes and stuff like that. Well, by the time I was 24, going on to 25, I started dabbling in pills. You know what I'm saying? Was I ever addicted? No. But I had a really great time doing them. You know, it definitely helped me sleep at night. And you know, I was convinced that I had this terrible anxiety and I needed these meds. It's just the doctor wouldn't give them to me, right? Like, and after almost 5 strong years in corporate America at the same company, working for them since I'm a little baby, damn near, you know, I started fucking up. And when I started fucking up, I started hanging around the gang again. Sure did. And now I have a 4-year-old. And now I lost my job, so I don't have nothing better to do with my time than to, number one, I'm single, number 2, I ain't got no job and I'm collecting unemployment, and number 3, I don't have no goddamn friends except for the guys. So, started hanging around the guys again. I happen to have to fight for my unemployment, and I just so happen to be able to somehow evade eviction, because I wasn't able to pay the bills anymore. I didn't have a job, you know what I'm saying? I was a fucking, like, oh fuck, like, what do? I don't have no damn job. And finally, I was, you know, fighting for this unemployment, and I know it didn't sound right because of the way I just explained it, but I remember, like, I had to fight for the unemployment. I appealed it, and then I got, like, a $7,000 check. And then I started getting my unemployment. They tried to fight it, and then I won it because I got a good mouthpiece, okay? So I said, oh my God, I have to go to Florida. I got to reach out to my aunt, and I got to start a new life. I got to get away from the fucking guys. And then the guys started coming to Florida, too. Sure did. Not all crazy, but like I lived a totally different life in Florida. But here's the thing. Every year for my birthday, I went home. And who did I kick it with? My best friend, who was no good for me. We were no good for each other. Let's be for serious, okay? We were no good for each other. And I went and I stayed with her every fucking year for my birthday. And we always kicked it with the guys. So every year I'm coming home and I'm meeting new people, and you know, we got the Facebooks, and I'm keeping in contact with people, and I'm meeting all these people, and it doesn't even matter that I'm in Florida because I'm totally connected with Chicago, Waukegan, all the things, okay? But I'm living my best life in Florida. Oh, I was a hoochie mama in Florida. Yes, I was, honey, because them Spanish boys were so fine. Oh, especially the New York ones, some Dominicans. Oh, honey. Bravo to Central Florida. I'm literally clapping for these motherfuckers, okay? And I happened to be a little hottie, so like I was in there like swimwear, baby. And I was living my best life, but I was still going home and I was still being a mother all year long. But for a week and a half at my birthday, boy, I was going home and I was in some mess. It started getting to the point where I started dressing like a whole ass chick, and I would wear heels and big old hoops and shit like that, and I'd be fucking running across from one bar to get to the other bar because we hear something popped off over there, and I'm fucking throwing heels off and taking off my jewelry and fucking handing them to these bitches. And no, but I could not stay away. Okay, there's a pattern here. There's a pattern with what I'm talking about. But while in Florida, my son used to go home and see his Nana and Papa every summer. Yes, he did. And one summer, that baby left me. And something happened to me that changed my life forever. I essentially had a psychotic break. I look back on it now and I know exactly what I went through. And I had no idea what was going on. I just knew that I was going crazy, and oh my God, I can't be a mother right now. What are you talking about? I need fucking help. Something's wrong. I truly don't know what has been said about me, but what I do know is I wouldn't come on here and lie about my life. I have no reason to do that, and it's extremely easy for anybody in my real life to find me on YouTube. It's on my Facebook, it's on my Instagram, it's on my TikTok. I'm friends with a lot of my friends, a lot of my peeps, okay? And like, no one is watching these videos and going to let me lie about my life. No one from junior high would say that I wasn't popular and that I wasn't a fucking bully. I was a bully. I ran my fucking mouth on bitches, and it made them scared of me, and I thought it was respect. I really did. I think I've just always been drama, and I thrive on drama. I really do. When I have drama going on in my life, I get to forget about my own problems. And that's what I have done for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I forget about the real life shit, and I just worried about the stuff that was going on YouTube. And then it got real. You know, then it wasn't fun no more. Then it was scary. Then it was obsessive. Then it was weird. Then it turned into all them things. So it's my first psychotic break. I'm in Florida. My son is off in Wisconsin having a great, week or two or whatever. He was supposed to stay with his Nana and Papa and just living his best life. And I'm totally scared to leave the fucking house. And I can't think about nothing except for the crazy shit that's going through my mind. I wouldn't leave the fucking house. I literally would leave the house to get like a carton of cigarettes, right? And then I would order Hungry Howie's cheesy bread with a 2-liter of Dr. Pepper. I didn't give a fuck. I wasn't leaving the house, so Dr. Pepper it was. They didn't have any Coca-Cola. I specifically fucking remember. I remember calling the cops, and they're like, well, like, what do you want us to do, ma'am? And I'm like, I don't know. This is what my Aunt Sue said to do. Call the cops, and they'll, what they call in Florida, Baker Act you, and they're like, but you're like not bugging up, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, well, what? I'm supposed to be bugging up? Like, I need help. What do I do? I'm scared to like leave the fucking house. And that was really the beginning of the end for me. I am going to talk more about everything that happened in Florida and when I got diagnosed and my first hospital stay and meeting my husband and getting married in 5 months or so. I don't even know how long it was, honey. Being only married for 9 months, and here it is 20 years later and we're still married. Yeah, neither one of us have remarried, so we just don't give a fuck, and that's terrible. The problem really is that I could call any of my exes except for one, and I have a good couple handfuls of exes, okay, couple handfuls, and I could call any one of them at any given moment, and, you know, we could have a good conversation, and everything would be gravy, baby, and all the things, you know. But yeah, like, I should have gotten a divorce by now. Like, that's what adults do, you know, and I haven't. Surprise, surprise. But anyway, we'll get into that in part 2. I know that I'm telling very quick, you know, and I'm trying to do this and keep everything in line and in order and, you know, all the things. But I think to highlight my first psychotic break and what that meant for me, what it looked like for me, how I didn't understand, and how I, you know, tried to seek help for weeks and, you know, couldn't go to work and, you know, couldn't explain why, and, you know, finally did get some medical help, finally did get on those Xanax that I really wanted, you know, and had to have for my anxiety. And before you know it, I'm, you know, eating 6 milligrams a day, and I'm only doing it because the bottle is telling me to do it. And, you know, realizing that you're physically dependent on something that you thought you were taking as medication, and realizing that you essentially can't live without it because your anxiety without it is not even worth living sometimes. And that's some realities, I guess, of part 2. But I will get into that. I want to get this out tomorrow, so I need to get this edited. It's getting late. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging out with me. Peace out, Girl Scout. Thanks again for coming. I hope you have a great day or night wherever it is you are, and I'll see you on the next one.